Hello, hello, everyone out there in Facebook. We're here in Zoom together. The VIPs are here. We've been working hours together, actually, and still energized and feeling so good. I will say, like, this has just been such a magical time together on this challenge. Challenge number 3, how to build our dream business and take it online. So I'm super excited for you guys for saying yes, for being with us. The VIP room has just been incredibly engaged and lovely and sharing stories. We had Melissa Banks on here earlier and sharing her story. She's been part of all 3 challenges and rocking it and doing such a great job. And then we also got to talk to our team. We talked to Tori and Skippy and Larissa. And Larissa, I want to bring you back on. And Narina was on here too, which, oh my God, the happiness science is still blowing our mind from Saturday. I get lots of comments from people, Narina, that they're putting things together that they learned from you and that they learned from Kristen around energy and how it's already helping. So thank you for being such a dedicated team member and helping us. And Larissa, oh my goodness, I know your heart is just overflowing and you have so many ideas and so many, things that you're bringing to the table for us. And I just want to check in with you and see how's this journey been for you in this challenge.
Oh my goodness. Like, where do I even start? I've been in the event business a long time, like since 2002. And I've been involved with a lot of different organizations. I've gone to a lot of conferences and like they're beautiful, but I have to tell you, they don't have the heart. They do not have the heart. And I'm saying this from my heart. They do not have the heart that I have experienced this past week. And like every single person that has come to this challenge, they have brought their A game. To have the opportunity to work with someone like David and learn from him and all the other incredible everyone from mindset to sales to like, oh my gosh, it's just been, this has been like having a mindset, like a mastermind. And I'm in masterminds, like I'm in one right now, that's $25,000 a year. And this is something that you don't find this. And it's very rare. So it's a very special gift. I feel so blessed to be a part of this and to be able to take this energy and move forward and create something that is so unique for the event association, for the event world. And that's what I don't know what I did to get this opportunity, but I must have done something right to have this opportunity. So I'm really, really excited. I was saying earlier is that it's not just about being event planners, but being educating entrepreneurs. Because yes, we all know how to make beautiful events, but we need to have that foundation of how do we create a business that allows us to continue to move forward and create events for years to come for our clients and be successful at it. So it's a win, win, win all the way around. So that's what we're going to be doing in the association. So hope that you'll join us and continue on. Lee and Joey have an incredible opportunity if you want to take it deeper and take that jump start. And that's the thing, like there's like that whole section of running a business as an event planner that, is not sequins and beautiful candles and flowers, but it is the hard work of, oh, what's my profit margin? Where did I get my taxes in? All of those types of things that are like, we don't really like to deal with because it's not the party and that we're drawn to making people happy and making sure they have a great time. But we need to have that's all of our house in order so that we don't fall down. Because I have seen a lot of businesses that were doing incredible events, but they were missing, like they weren't filing their taxes. They weren't getting their profit margins on where they had to be. And then they couldn't move forward. So it's really important. We'll be dealing with that. We'll be dealing with mindset because that's part of it. And working with people, not only from the event industry, but from outside as well. So it's going to be something completely unique, like we've been seeing these past 7 days. And I really hope that you join us.
I love it. And we are so blessed to be able to work with David and with Joey and to expand our horizons. And Larissa, I'm so grateful that you are on this journey with us because you're going to help us implement and integrate all those ideas and do this day by day. What do you have to do now? How do you run your business? So having that structure is really brilliant. And I love it that everyone here is so open to learning. and open to connecting. I'm seeing collaboration happening. In the mentorship program, we actually have 2 members that are collaborating, and they are global. One is in the US and one is in Italy. So I know there are global collaborations happening too. And I know, Larissa, you actually even want to open the event planners to be more of a global organization. We talked about it in the VIP room, like how do we include others? So we are going to put that on the horizon as well, because honestly, events happen around the world. We do destinations everywhere. And with Zoom, we're going to be doing more, some inline, some in person, and some a hybrid with both. So that is brilliant. I love that you are so enthusiastic about this community too, because it really shows, and it really shows that you care about other event planners, not just your business, not just your clients, but really the industry as a whole. So thank you for that commitment. And I want to actually highlight Toria as well. Toria, our community manager. A lot of people in the VIP have really gotten to know her vulnerable self behind the scenes as she's talking about the things she's been learning. And I'm so proud of you, Toria, because not only did you apply to be part of this, but you stepped in it and started playing, as Lisa Nichols says, full out. You were playing full out from the beginning. And one of the things we discovered today was your first recap video you did with the group took you over 6 hours to do, because you were working on it, learning, perfecting it. And now this recent one took you 20 minutes to film and some extra time to edit. But look how far you've come in such a short time. You are learning so many new skills. So I'd love to hear what your experience has been with this and with David and Joey. And you actually signed up and paid for your mentorship with Joey with David from the beginning. You were already a student when we came to you and said, we had room for you as a community manager. So I'd love to hear your story.
Yeah, so last challenge, I paid for VIP and I paid for the mentorship before any of this happened. So no, I'm not free. It's not free or anything. Paid for everything to invest in myself. And yeah, like Lee said, to film the first video took me about 6 hours, because I kept critiquing myself and being like, oh my gosh, my voice sounds weird, or my eye looks weird, and et cetera, et cetera. But now I'm getting to the point where I'm more confident. I'm like, okay, my voice is fine. You're overthinking it. Just post the video and send it to Roland to help me edit. So it's been like, yeah, it took me 6 hours to like yesterday. It took me maybe 20, 30 minutes. So
that's a big advancement in a short amount, but it was practice, right? It was practice. And then also the feedback from the group was, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be done. So over time though, you've gotten more confident with it, and we can see it.
And all the compliments and stuff helps too, because that makes me feel, okay, people like my videos. I feel better about it. So it's always fun.
And can you tell me a little bit about your experience being in the mentorship program? What's that been like? How many meetings have you had, and what did it feel like?
So I joined it the last challenge. So I've only had the 2 calls so far, but my favorite call was last week's, where he talked all about his Indonesia event and how he works with vendors outside of the country and how he selects them and does the processing when he's doing overseas events. So it was cool to see an event that he hasn't really posted a lot of pictures about, and how he handled everything. Because I think he said it was like over 1,000 people event. It was a huge event. So that was my favorite part.
Wow. And did he show you pictures? Did you feel like you got to learn a lot through that experience?
Yeah, so he showed us pictures. He showed us floor plans. It was like a huge case study. So we had a bunch of stuff available on the mentorship website that we could refer to, but then he also went in depth on it, which was really cool.
And do you remember like a aha moment or something that you're like, oh, I'm so glad I heard that or saw that?
There was a lot of them. I don't have my notes right near me, but there was a lot of them. So.
And did you learn anything from the hot seats or him highlighting other members of the group?
Last time was just the case study, and then the time before that, I'm trying to remember. That was more like just questions, but the questions, and I like the question session the best, because we're getting like hundreds of questions that even I don't think of, and I'm writing everything down. The question sessions, I probably have like 10 pages of notes per mentorship session. So
wow,
the value's been there.
Wow. That's incredible. I'm so glad you had that experience. And how does it feel to be seen by David and Joey, for them to know your name, for them to like want to learn from you now? Like, how's that feeling?
It's been crazy. So since I was 13, I've always looked up to, there's always been 2 people I looked up to, David Tatera and Randy Finoli from Say Yes to the Dress. I don't know if you guys know who that is.
Oh yeah.
That was like the whole start of everything. I was like, I want it. And I started doing events in high school, putting on blood drives, anything I could. So then when I went to college and did event management, it was like an easy flow. So when I joined the mentorship, it was an easy decision. And when David Totero called me, I like freaked out. My mom came and recorded me because she knew exactly what was happening.
I love that. So I see Joey is here.
I am. I've made it to the party.
Yeah, we are so excited. We've been celebrating just, how happy we are to be connected to you and David. And so many people shared their story about how blown away they are that you're just real people. Like, you're not acting like divas. You're not doing anything but being real, transparent, pulling the curtain back, sharing so many gems and learning lessons. Like, we're blown away that this is real. Several people said they really did not think it could be this real. And it's just magical. Thank you, Joey, for making it happen.
I'm so excited to hear all this feedback. It's so wonderful. This whole program, I'm glad that's inspiring others. I'm glad that's inspiring all who have joined us, because it really has inspired David and I a lot. We do run nonstop. We try to balance everything out between work opportunities and of course our family. So it's been a running day since I left you guys at 11, but I'm here. And you get a new backdrop today. You don't get David's office, you get mine. This is a great journey that we're on together. And that's the big key of it, is that we're on it together. And I think that's why you see it, that we're here and it's real. Because if it was a journey where we were telling you just where to go or what to do, and we weren't included in it, it would be a very different experience. If we didn't try to create, like we worked so hard to, and I'm so excited to see that it is working, the connection between everyone. And that's the difference of this. That's the difference in what we always strive to do. And that's our insight, our biggest insight and our biggest share throughout everything is to continue to look in our businesses. And I think that's something that as we continue to go through the mentorship program and everything is, how do we continue to elevate? How do we continue to create experiences where everyone involved in that experience really feels included? And that was the importance of that lesson that David was sharing the other day of, you just can't look at yourself that you're too good to do something. You have to be able to do anything and everything. Doesn't mean that you're the expert of it, because you're hiring your caterer, you're hiring all the different vendors that are coming in, but you know what that vendor does. You get some good ideas of how lighting in a space should work or could work. You elevate your experience there, your education there on that. So all the different facets that go into pulling off an event, you really start, as the planner, you start thinking about all the different vendors that you work with. Well, since I'm the master of ceremonies, I kind of do need to know what each of these are capable of doing. And even like on events, on invitations. So start there, because that's where the story for our clients start when they invite somebody. That should be the start of them sharing their story. Going back again, the storytelling. What's possible in invites can set the tone. So you think about the invitations world, well, it's just paper. No, it's not just paper. There are so many other ways of either making paper and the invitation so much more of an experience. There's a way of connecting it now digitally, and especially as we talk about digital events, that you have to think about, what can I learn? And then how can I think of being creative and stepping outside of the box here so I can support my clients in that? You think about then transportation. If they are going to have a transportation option for their guests coming to the event, or if you have set something up with valet, what can you do that makes it an easier process? You think about, as I started there with lighting, lighting's the big one. Lighting, it can make or break an event. So really learn about how you can work with your lighting vendors, how you can learn from them about the lights that they use, the different equipment that they use, how it can be used at its best, So that way you can start working with your clients of really coming up with effective and great lighting plans. You can also probably save them money too, because that's, I think, one thing that David really, really does great for our clients, and how you can really spread that budget is we'll get a lighting contract from some vendors that is over the top crazy, 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 crazy. So before he even presents it to the client, he's able to go through there and go back to the vendor and say, wait a minute, I know a thing or two about lighting. Do we really need these different components in here? I don't think we do. So you already scratch that off. You already take care of that and save your client money before they even know you're saving the money, because that money then is used in other places. That's the expertise piece that we talk about and being so, so valuable, is that you can go through these different pieces and know it. You know, when you go in and you take your client to the tasting, some clients, they're not going to tell if it was an amazing tasting or if it was a horrible tasting. But you as the planner, you as the expert, you're going to be there to guide that experience, and you're going to see if something was off. If your client thinks it was perfect, that's okay. Let them think that it was perfect, but then talk through them about some other ways of elevating. Don't correct them that, oh, well, you're wrong. You didn't see that. This wasn't perfect. This was horrible. Don't belittle them. That's not what we're saying either, because again, we want to stay on that same light with our client, because if it was good to them, let's just then talk about what then could be elevated. All of these different things. These are the different things that we are so passionate about working together to see, in this call that we're going to do, the mentorship call that we're going to do next week, next Wednesday, it's about working with difficult clients. And it's about, these type of issues, of these little things, and how to work through them better, how to work through them, and how to really change how you're going to speak to your client about it. So that again, we're never belittling our client, talking down to them. And by belittling them, I mean like trying to tell them, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, because you're not an event planner. I'm the event planner. You don't ever want to have that experience with them, but you want to be there as you're their guide. You get to be their guide to open up their eyes to new experiences and new possibilities of what's possible, and have them where they're like, I hired Gail, and I know I hired Gail because she showed me this, and she showed me this in such a great way, and brought me through this process. So as we go through, today, as just, I would think part of today of this 2-hour time, this time here at 2 that we wanted to do was recap on marketing. I just went off on my own little tangent there.
I loved it.
I got guided
genius.
something, and it took me, and I went there.
I love that. And I love that about you, is because you know what we need to hear. Like, I needed to hear more about lighting today. Honestly, I'm still perfecting that myself.
I think it's because the last 3 hours we've been knee deep working on a new client, and that was the last thing I saw was lighting.
It's in your brain.
It was in my brain, and we were working on it and really working really well on it. But I want all of our attendees of this program and our attendees in the mentorship program to be able to find client opportunities that get them giddy, that get them excited and passionate and fired up, where you just go. Because that's what this is about. It's about up-leveling for all of us, because in the industry of events, and celebrations, and weddings, there's so much opportunity out there. I saw one of the comments during this past challenge, and I didn't get a chance to address it because we were flying so fast, but it stuck with me still, was someone posted in there when we were talking about tagging other vendors, that I think it was in Peru, they don't want to do that because then they view it as competition. If they tag the other vendors, then they're just going to call that vendor directly. Well, you're not the vendor of everything, though. So it's okay. It's okay to still tag and share. And it's trying to, one of the things that I took with me from my past business experience, I was on the board of directors for the Holistic Chamber of Commerce of Arizona. I was the treasurer of that board. The mission of that whole Chamber of Commerce was the spirit of co-creation and collaboration. And that's what I like bringing here to our event planning community, is this idea of co-creation and collaboration, and supporting each other. And it means so many different things, because you're able to apply it in many ways. You're able to apply it in ways of how we can help collaborate and learn together, how we can collaborate in events, and how we can co-create events as well, and how we can co-create our businesses. So there's so much learning there.
Absolutely. And that's it. Co-create, collaborate, co-create, collaborate. We don't have to do it by ourselves. We rise together. And even in our vendor list, don't be shy who it is. You have the relationship with them. They're going to show up with you differently because of your history and your relationship. If someone starts with them brand new, they're just a name on a list. You're the person who has the relationship. And that is what's most important. I mean, I see, Joey, how you guys treat your vendors and how you bring them in as speakers, how you let them shine. When we were in Bermuda, you brought a florist with you who was extraordinary, who taught us how to not only do florist arrangements, or actually that was Santa Monica. They did arrangements for us for the event. Like, we had an event with you and we all did the arrangements, and then you guys put them in place. But your florist, instead of her just doing it, she brought us in on the education, but you shared your vendor with us. Yeah. You shared that relationship. She showed up because she likes working with you guys, not just because she was a name on a paper, but because of that relationship, all through collaboration.
It is all through collaboration. And that's also what I mean about learning about the industry and the different vendors that you're going to utilize. Collaborate with them. See how, if you have an open weekend in your slot, see maybe where they might need some support in one of their events, especially if you're new to the industry and getting started. It's a great way to make relationships and to build relationships by lending that helping hand on one of their events. And then you get to touch and feel what that process is like. So when you're producing your event, you know that element that much better. And again, if you look at it, it's still all under this umbrella of marketing. It's about the network, about day one of network. Build this network of vendors, providers, resources, both in the industry and outside of the industry, that you get to know and appreciate them just as much as they get to know and appreciate you, so that when that client does come up in their circle of communication, they think of you right away. That's part of this whole thing of marketing. Part of these whole 5 days, I hope, that was taken away is the concept of not just creating credibility, but creating relationships through the marketing efforts that you do, because each of these branches has a relationship aspect to it. And if you do the relationship aspect of it really well, that's when you fly. That's when you truly can just soar beyond your wildest dreams and level up. You know, you can do that. You can see that 10% that I so love that, Larissa, that you were able to, take this, my idea where I continually just say up level it, but really break it down even simpler, of just think of it as 10%, which isn't that much. But when added up,
that's our Bible. We've been doing this. That's what we say. We're like, hey, when we walk in this room, how can we make this room 10% better? When we walk into this environment, how can we make that better? When we're working on a team, what can we do to up level? We're always saying, because it doesn't have to be a huge stretch, even just a 10% improvement is an improvement. It's going in the right direction. But the team is looking at it like, hey, how can I make a little difference that over time will make a big difference? And I love Larissa and I, yes, we are always talking about how can we make this 10% better? Because it doesn't feel like a huge amount, but over time, it really adds a lot.
Please share, everyone. Tammy shared, and I've seen a couple other shares, like Tammy Anderson just shared that working in catering, she's had to fix cakes, fix arrangements, make corsages, etc. Just share in the comments, because I'd love to download the comments when we're done and just see what everyone has done that's outside of their box. I think that's where you learn so much and see what you're capable of, and really build that self-confidence within you when you start realizing all that you truly are capable of. Yes, plumbing. I mean, I here this year, one of the most exciting things for me that's happened that I've never in my wildest dreams have done was this year, I became an importer and a manufacturer of chandeliers. Never in my wildest dreams would have I thought that I was going to be in the lighting business and figure out how to, get a chandelier manufactured and created. But I did, because we had a challenge. And so the challenge was David created an amazing design proposal. It was a huge proposal, very, very big dollars. But the problem was one of his line items on this lighting installation he had for one of the nights, he actually didn't price it high enough. He didn't price it high enough if we wanted to use rentals for what the look was. We could have done it, but it wouldn't have looked right. If we actually did the rentals, it wouldn't have had that look. So we looked around Amazon to see if we could buy something similar. Nope, still way too expensive. So then, because thankfully we still had a couple months left, I only had 6 months left, but with the 6 months, I found a source in China. I had the drawing and picture of what I wanted and the modifications to what I wanted. And going through WhatsApp and emails, I was able to get a chandelier manufactured that David actually designed. So instead of doing, just something generic, we actually got David's design of the chandelier made. And now here's the funny part. Because I manufactured it overseas, I was able to get it at amazing cost. So I was able to not only then use this so that we made a profit on the client event, I was able then to re-rent it because I owned it. And then after a while of looking at them in the garage, I was like, oh, I need to sell these. I was able to sell it. So for that line item, we were able to really reutilize it for the client for a separate rental and then sell it altogether off. We did really good. But that was thinking outside the box, where all of a sudden we turned an uh-oh into oh, that was a good uh-oh. Doesn't always work out that way, no, but we didn't cave. And that's, I think, the biggest lesson or biggest takeaway always we can have is believing in ourselves and believing when there is a problem or something that shows up, of really brainstorm it and go big on your brainstorm. And some of those wild ideas, they can come true if you work on them. They truly, truly can. You just have to put in the work and pull from your team. You don't have to always do it alone. You pull from a group that will help you on it. One of the things I'd like to cover right now would be, let's do a quick hit, 5 minutes. Let's go 5 minutes. So from now, they'll take us to 2:55. And let's just hit on networking, referrals, social media, public speaking, and then PR. Our 5 topics from this challenge that we just finished. And let's do just some big takeaways, ahas. What did I learn from David? What did I learn from someone else in the chat? And go. So Lee, I know that you've been watching this feedback like I have and the homework, and so have you, Larissa and Tori. Maybe Tori, or if you have it queued up, or for one of them, what was your favorite Get Bravo that you've seen on the networking day one?
Do you want me to answer that?
Sure.
So what was my favorite Get Bravo? Is that what you said? Sorry.
Yeah, your favorite Get Bravo takeaway from the networking day. Like, what was what was the biggest aha? And if you don't have the video, sure, you don't have to, obviously, but what did you see that was just like, wow?
Yeah, so I learned a lot on the networking day. So I personally have been in a few associations, but I liked the business card piece, I think, the most. I believe that was the day we talked about business cards and how if you have a flimsy business card, people are just going to throw it away. You know, you need to invest in yourself and invest in your pieces of business that you're going to give to someone when you're networking. Because if they see a flimsy business card, they're not going to keep it. But if it's a nicer one, I like the technique of you can do the stars, like, oh, I really need to talk to this person, and just the quick tips of what you could do when networking to make it better.
That's awesome. Yeah, the business card one was pretty big, and like that card that David ripped up was Ritz-Carlton Private Reserve Hotel. Like it was one of those very few of the luxury brand, their ultra luxury hotel, but it was a really horrible card. Melissa, I see her, that she shared here of with networking, plan before you go. That's so huge. That one was a big one for me when I started actually realizing what I was doing. Because I got to this point of networking a lot, but nothing's happening. And, you know, I felt like I was spinning my wheels. The big piece was not having that clarity of, well, one, what am I going to the event for? And then two, how do I need to really prepare for it? And then when I learned that whole concept about networking isn't me, it's how do I support when I go to network? That was really, really, really big.
I like your idea of not only being prepared, but also practicing your pitch or practicing your elevator pitch that you're going to deliver, and practicing what you're going to say in conversation, and practicing even being there and listening to other people. So I thought that was so valuable, is prepare and practice.
And then to close that one out, it's PJ's gem of before you go to that event, as you're scheduling your time to go to that event, you schedule your time of when you're going to follow up to that event. Because I've fallen into that trap so many times. And I think, you know, going to Wedding MBA next time, I'm definitely going to have to schedule that time. That's been my trap the last 2 years. I've never scheduled that time for when I come home with all of this I know I'm going to come home with, when I'm going to do it. And it gets lost in the shuffle. So I think that's a huge one. As soon as you're putting on that networking event time, you better pick out a time. And it doesn't matter. I really, truly don't think it matters if you pick out that time the next day, the day after, probably no more than a week after, but within that next week, within that 7-day period of that networking event, I think that's when you have to have this time scheduled for it. And I think then based on what the time you schedule for, that also helps you realize what you're going to do at that networking event. If you only have 30 minutes or an hour to follow up on what you did at that networking event, then during that time, really look to hone in on making some good contacts that during that hour of follow-up, you're going to really have some great action with. Because if you have only blocked out an hour to follow up with people, but you have 200 people to follow up with, the math just simply doesn't work to do a decent follow-up on that. So think about that a little bit. Who would like to come on just real quick before we go on to the next topic of day 2, and just share one other insight for networking, one other just really huge gem, aha key. Brenda, I see your clap. Do you want to come on?
All right.
All right, let's.
Hi, Joey. One of the big things that I took out of the networking part was to be open to what might come to you. It's been, you know, sometimes we go in with this, you know, oh, I'm here to do a wedding show, and you're doing a wedding show, but there might be somebody coming through with that couple that might want an anniversary, that might want a destination celebration. So if you're open to that and the conversations surrounding that are coming near you and to you, then that opens up a great possibility for. And that's one of the key things that you kept saying throughout this whole thing, was to be open. And that was one of the big things that I took.
Because it's a two-way street. It's be open to what may come to you. Also be open to when you see others, how can you be of service to them? So when they come up to you, you're listening to their story too, and you all of a sudden plug in, oh, I think I can support you that way. And you truly see that connection, that two-way street. I think that's wonderful. I love that. Thank you, Brenda.
Thank you very much, Joey.
Absolutely. Let's keep plugging away. So day two is another powerful day of marketing. We talked about referrals and how the world of referrals can really be so vast and so big. Because you have within industry referrals, you have client referrals, you have referrals from people that were a guest at one of your events. You have referrals from your family network. You have referrals from your network in general. Referrals are really, really big, and it can be that very powerful moment. But do not pay for referrals, correct?
And actually ask for referrals, especially from people you love working with, and let them know, you are such a great client. I love working with you. I want more people like you. So you plant the seed, and they're on the lookout when they hear keywords from people that they're having a family event, or their daughter's getting married, or their neighbor's, having a christening, whatever it is, you're going to be top of mind because you've planted the seed that you're looking for those connections.
Yeah. And I love Candace's aha moment of asking for that testimonial first. And as you're asking for the testimonial, that referral might naturally come out. Really looking for the key time to ask for the referral. The biggest piece is always, to everything, you have to ask. If you don't ask, then you're probably not going to get one. And when you ask, and if it's avoided, or if there's, if you're asking a person and there's an awkward face, be in tune to the body language, be in tune to that nonverbal communication, so that you can understand how to do that dance around that, and get to understand what that nonverbal communication might have been all about. It is a dance, and part of the dance is staying connected with clients so that you are able to ask. So, where you're sending out either the anniversary congratulations note, or you're doing that video post on social media, or you're just staying connected in a relationship after the event, that's a great way to nurture it. How you can also get referrals from your vendor partners and from your network is you give them. You give the referrals. Make sure that you are giving referrals, and not just to the industry, but out of the industry too. That's also going to help to build the relationship and build the power of it. So,
David shared something really big about that too, around don't ask for a cut of the commission, just ask them to show up and make you look good and be responsible and be on time and be A players with batteries included. That is the way. He said several times he tried over and over to create income streams or referral fees, and it wasn't worth it. What was really worth it was a vendor network you can count on that actually show up in deep relationship with you to help you do your job well. Let them do their job well, keep their income, you keep your income, but you help each other by elevating together and collaborating.
And there's also the comment of don't burn bridges. That one's so big, and we're going to hit on that again next week too, with difficult clients. Don't burn bridges with your difficult clients, because they still are a client of yours, and they probably have other, there are going to be people attending that event of theirs that might not be as difficult as they were. So you want to, be sure that you're not burning bridges with your clients that might have been difficult, but you're also not burning bridges with vendors. When things go wrong, be honest. Be honest about what went wrong with the vendor. If the vendor didn't show up how you needed them to show up, and it's already post-event, so there's nothing you can do to fix it, unfortunately, be honest, be graceful in that, of how you're addressing it. Try to address it from that whole constructive criticism mind frame from back in elementary school of, we give constructive criticism. We don't just tell people they're bad or mean. We want to uplift it and say what happened here, because then it can also be a great learning for them. And that can even build a more powerful relationship. So I love that mindset of don't burn bridges, but be conscious about why you're not burning bridges and about how you're still going across those bridges, because they can be challenging.
So So what was our day 3? Social media?
Our day 3 was social media. Public speaking, social media was
Public speaking, that's right. Okay. That's right. It was Monday. It was this week. Oh my God, just a couple of days ago. And public speaking was one of the ones when we first put that in there. You weren't 100% thrilled with it. And then look how you knocked it out of the park. You and David gave us so many ideas, so many stories, and we started seeing even things like this are public speaking. So it's not just stepping on a stage in front of 10,000 people. It's all those other opportunities you have, including in environments like this. And I thought it was brilliant.
One of the my big highlights for the public speaking one was really taking from over the weekend with Natalia, of her sharing of just how busy she's been on taking courses to continue to educate herself in other areas. She mentioned public speaking as one of them. Take a public speaking course. If you've never taken a public speaking course, sign up for one and take it online. If you've taken public speaking before, take it again. If it's been over 5 years, you'll learn something different. You'll be in a different place. You'll have a different point of view. And you use that public speaking, those tools you get from a public speaking course in everyday communication to just be able to make it through and be able to connect with your client one-on-one, with the group, with the family, with the bridal party, with the whole entourage of all the guests that might be at that event. Because I think now than ever, here's our good news. Hopefully our good news. You know, everyone is on track that 2021 is going to be our biggest year ever. We were on a production call the other day, you know, talking about the landscape of celebrations and weddings. And, you know, there's a lot of people excited out there that, well, you know, 2021 could just be the wedding year of years, of the number of weddings and events out there, because when people can finally feel a little more comfortable to connect, they're missing that connection right now, that they're going to go above and beyond. And even if it's smaller guest counts, they're going to want that experience. So it's going to be really, really big. I digress from public speaking on that one. But with public speaking, you can get out there and you can share your learning. You can find the bridal shows that will be happening next year. And you go and you find your opportunity to present there. Find, whether it's your Chamber of Commerce, a BNI group, your church group, whatever group resonates with you. That's the big one. Whatever group resonates with you, that you feel welcomed in, go and speak and share your voice and share your ideas and share your expertise. There are many, many podcasters out there. There are many more educational programs that are online out there now. Find an opportunity where you might be able to be a guest teacher, a guest speaker. David had the privilege of doing that back in April, when COVID first started, where he was a guest speaker and a guest lecturer. And it was the greatest experience to talk to students they were in a business program, a business events program, not really even understanding what they wanted to do, but he got to share his insights of just the world of business and give some tastes of event planning there. Find opportunities like that where you would feel comfortable in speaking too, because it just helps to elevate you. And again, build that credibility that we talk about through public speaking. And it's a great give back. I mean, even if you use it at your local elementary school or junior high, when you can go in person and do the career day, go and be a volunteer for career day. I did one of those career days. They're so fun. It's for the sixth graders. You're talking to them about what you do and who they want to be, and none of them match with who you are, but they're so fun to just hear from them, and you get to share a little of your insights and advice. Those are all areas where public speaking works. It's huge.
And good practice.
Great practice. Great practice.
And actually, you know, we were talking about social media next, and